Hey y'all, this is the collector in the corner. This is Randall pumping water. This is his homemade device.
I'm gonna do a video on how we's coping with this below zero, once in a lifetime, record breaking, cold, whatever, Arctic weather.
Freezy.
We knew it was coming, so we turned off our electricity, our pump, except for where the pump's at. I've got an electric running over there, and I've got a electric skillet under it to keep it from freezing. But if electricity goes off in the middle of the night, all that could freeze and all that. So I turned the pump off, purged all the water out of the lines and everything. They're buried deep in the ground from that well over yonder. They're buried deep enough in the ground. We took the backhoe and buried them deep enough. They ain't gonna freeze down there. But where it comes out of the ground and goes down into the ground and in the house and stuff, there's a chance it could freeze. That house not insulated that good.
Nope.
So we got two wells on this place.
Yes.
That other well over there is 450 foot deep.
Yep.
It's down into the office.
And I've had to help pull the pump. It is no fun.
Me and Debbie pulled that pump out.
No fun.
Me and her.
Yes.
Worked on it. Anyway, it's got a casing in it, and it cased out all the groundwater. It's got, I don't know how many feet of casing, 60 feet at least. And the static water level on that is 75 foot most of the year, except during the extreme middle of the summer. If they're irrigating down the bottom grounds, it might go down another 25 foot. This well right here is 6-inch well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an old pounded well, made with one of them old cable tool rigs that just beats a hole through the rock.
Uh-huh.
And what they did, they hit a small stream of water at 12 feet. Trickle. And they kept on pounding and beating.
Sorry if the camera's shaking. It's cold out here.
Never hit no more water. Just that little trickle. So what that is, every foot, a 6-inch well has got 1.5 gallons of water. So with that 250 foot, you know, that gives you 250 gallons, and half that again is 125. That's 375 gallons of water if you put your pump at the bottom of that well that you can use before you run out of water. But that ain't a whole lot of water, really. Modern day, you know, when you're using a wash machine and, you know, all the appliances and water and this and that, you can pump that dry, burn the pump up really. So that's why they put that high capacity 450 foot well in there. Well, we wasn't using this well.
Nope.
So what I did, I took the plastic pipe, and at the very bottom I got a check valve with a screen at the bottom below it. And right above that check valve I've got a T. And on one side of that T I've come over to a 90 going up. And the other one I come straight up with this pipe right here.
Mm-hmm. That's your sucker rod, ain't it?
I put that 90 on there, I put another check valve on there. And come up with this pipe right here.
Mm-hmm.
This pipe here is a little bigger, and I've used 1/2-inch pipe for sucker rod.
Mm-hmm. That's what I thought.
And I've got a plunger on the end of that. When I shove that down,
mm-hmm,
it takes that water that can't go past that check valve at the bottom. That water hits that, and it comes back up and jumps above that check valve at the top. It lifts it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pushing it on the stroke like this is when it pumps.
Mm-hmm.
It don't pump when you're going down, it pumps when you're going up because it's pushing that water out.
Uh-huh. Pretty
well,
cool.
This well here's got that little trickle.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first made this, I set it in there at 20 foot and I could out pump it real easy.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I got it set at 60 feet. And what I've used just no part of an old windmill pump deal on there, but that's just for sucker rod. And if you wanted to build one real deep, you could get Schedule 80 pipe and use for sucker rod.
Uh-huh.
and it'd be fine. You know, and you could pump 200-300 foot up that way, put a windmill on it if you wanted to, you know. But anyway, we use this when the electricity's off or whatever. It's good water. We watered all the livestock and everything with it, and we'll continue to use it till the temperature abates and we turn the pump back on. Well, we ain't gonna take a chance of burning up a $400.
I know we've done it before.
Have our plumbing freeze and all that.
Yep. Been there, done that. Don't like it.
This place right here.
It sucks.
Back in the early part of last century was the town of Lima, Arkansas.
Yes.
There was 27 buildings here. And the patriarch was an old guy named Daniel D. David White. And there's a cemetery over there, and 2 of his wives are buried over in that cemetery. His first 2 wives. And one of them married a fella, had a daughter. They had a daughter out of one of them wives that married a fella by the name of David McElroy. And the other one had I forget where that McElroy come from, but the other one had a daughter that married a Redding Vandergrift from Round Rock, Texas. Well, there's a McElroy friend of mine, one of my nearest neighbors. He lives right down there about a little over a quarter mile. He's got land that they've had ever since that girl married that McElroy and that Daniel D. David White, give them that farm down there. And he's still got it in his family, and he takes good care of it. He's got it all fixed up real nice. His ancestors would be proud of him. And there's a lot of them Vandergrifts live around here too. But anyway, there was a post office here, and the first guy that started that post office was that David McElroy, and he called it Lima. Like after Lima, Peru, because he later on was postmaster down by where they call it Cherokee Bay now, and he named that in Peru. But anyway,
it's cold.
There was 27 buildings here.
I'm freezing.
I don't know what all was here, but there was a doctor here by the name of Dr. Pillow. And one of his headstones from one of his little baby girls is over there across the road in a little cemetery on that side of the road. But anyway, there's all kinds of medicinal plants grow here, like hawthorn berry and garlic and Virginia pepper and mullein and all different kinds of medicinal plants, you know, grows here. I guess he planted them. But somebody come here had something wrong with them, and everybody in town died. 27 buildings. And there's a guy who lived down there on the river down there. Him and his son come down, and they were scared of whatever that was, and they burnt every building with the dead people inside of them. And the only building they didn't burn, there was a 2-story log cabin here that was a tavern, and there was nobody inside the tavern, so they didn't burn it. And it had a chimney on each end and a dog trot through the middle. And it burnt in 1959. Bailey Brown, his family, was living in it when it burnt, best of my knowledge. But there used to be a big spring right down there, just where my driveway is. And people would come past that tavern, was right in here. They'd come right down this driveway, and they'd go down to that spring and water their teams and mules or whatever, you know, and get water, and all the women from the town would go down there and use that spring on wash day. I know it, but I'm going on. Anyway,
I'm freezing.
And everybody up here lived up here. They had outhouses and carried their water from the spring, so that might have contributed, you know, to everybody, whatever that was, cholera or whatever, killed everybody in town. But anyway, they all died off. Well, the highway department, in their wisdom, instead of keeping the highway up there where the original road was, they decided to come down through here and build a road.
Yes.
And they filled that spring up with riprap.
Yeah, it was nice of them.
That road's built on big pieces of riprap, and they went down there, and the cemetery was down there. And they come right through smack dab through the middle of that cemetery. Part of it's on my property, and part of it's on the property on the other side of the road. Now, I don't know why they do that. It takes a special kind of person to tear up a cemetery. But anyway,
Takes a special kind of person to
but
to
after
soften
that
you when she's
town
freezing.
burnt, after the town burnt, later on, that guy who burnt town, him and his son went back here, and all the human bones they could find, they put them together, and they went over and they dug holes like post holes over at that cemetery, and they buried them and put a rock to mark it, so nobody knows who they are or who's buried where. There's just rocks marks it. But anyway, there's only 3 marked graves there in that Lima cemetery, so that's the story of the town of Lima. But anyway, we're surviving the cold pretty good.
No, we're not. I'm freezing.
We ain't killed each other from cabin fever.
Oh my gosh, it's coming.
But anyway, chickens even laid a couple eggs.
Oh Jesus, you better commemorate that or whatever it's called.
Debbie's getting cold, so
yes,
I guess we'll
freezing.
go on in. We'll say goodbye and good luck to y'all. Hopefully the weather's supposed to warm up Monday.
Thank y'all, and please like and subscribe. Bye.